Hi and Assalamualaikum. My group will present about geopolitics and the global semiconductor industry. There were three issues in this case report, and we will further discuss about this issue later in this video. Before that, let me introduce myself first. My name is ATHIRAH binti JOHARI and my matrix number is 281007. I will present about the executive summary. Semiconductor integrated circuits, which is known as ICs, which are used in practically every industry. The study of this case report was made by emphasizing the objectives, the issues and solutions of the semiconductor sector, as well as the implications of applying particular policies. The goal of this study is to investigate the geopolitical problems, the global semiconductor market, and the effects of various policy options. Next, I will discuss about the objectives. There are three objectives, which is first, to find issues and state the problems that occur based on the case report studied. Second, to state the solution used based on the case report studies. And last, to explain and apply the types of policies and their effects on the three issues studied.
The first issue to be looked at concerns the sovereignty of Taiwan, which is an island about the size of Maryland, 100 miles off the coast of mainland China. The strategic ambiguity of Taiwan region occurred after the end of Chinese Civil War in 1949. It happened when the declaration made by Chinese Communist Party regarding the establishment of People's Republic of China as a government in mainland China. There are several visible effects of Taiwan territorial strategic ambiguity. First, there was a debate about the right to be the legitimate government for the entire mainland China between the government of People's Republic of China and the government of Kuomintang. The second effect is the conflict of economic relations between the government of People's Republic of China and the government of Kuomintang and the government of United States. The third effect is Taiwan economy is growing as a result of its heavily technology-oriented industrial sector, without having to stand under the auspice of People's Republic of China government. Based on the case report studied, there are three solutions implemented to overcome the strategic ambiguity of Taiwan regions. First, People's Republic of China has been generally accepted by the United States as the only legal government in China. Second, People's Republic of China is adopting a stricter foreign policy to increase China's economic growth. Third, the Belt and Road Initiative was launched in 2012 by Chinese President Xi Jinping.
So, this second issue is about tension between North Korea and South Korea. So, actually, the Korean Peninsula is a very peaceful, united and independent country that even was recognized by United States President itself. But there is tension that makes North Korea and South Korea divided because each of them has their own ideology and claim that they are the legitimate government. So after that, the Korean War that broke out, which is 1950, and also the subsequent Cold War, received support from American companies for South Korea and China for North Korea. Also, China supplies troops and weapons to North Korea as well as other materials for their war. And at the end, this caused both sides to suffer heavy losses and the death of many Koreans. Finally, a truce was reached in 1953. Thus, the two sides were permanently separated by the Korean Demilitarized Zone. And until now, they are still at war. Okay, so for these issues, there is technically have no solution. The dispute for both sides has no official solution. They did not sign any letter of reconciliation or any letter of agreement, and they remain at war status. But both form their respective countries, which are South Korea and North Korea. South Korea developed rapidly in early 1960, and they become one of the leading economies in the G20 and produce some of their local brands that are quite good in the global market. But North Korea is also growing economically, but largely unchanged due to the dissolution of Soviet Union in 1991. However, North Korea remains a military nuclear nation with the fourth largest military in the world.
Today, I would like to explain the issue 3, which is the United States government has initiated multiple lawsuits against Huawei. Huawei was founded in 1978 in Shenzhen, China, as a rural sales agent for Hong Kong. Huawei also was the top supplier of smartphones in the second quarter of 2020, ahead of Samsung, Apple, and Chinese handsets such as Oppo and Xiaomi. The United States government has made accusation that the Chinese telecommunication giant known as Huawei has stolen technology from United States firm. Therefore, they impose various legal actions. In this issue, the prosecutor has brought charge against Huawei for infringement in terms of sharing United States company and stealing trade secrets such as source code and robotic technology. In connection with that, Huawei is also accused of violating United States sanctions and stealing technology from T-Mobile United States, the telecommunication equipment that is being installed, namely 4G, has worried the United States because they think China will be involved in espionage and take advantage of the infrastructure network. The last part of my presentation is the best solution for this issue. Based on article, the founder of Huawei, Ren Zhengfei, did not remain silent when faced with the accusation, but they insisted that they were politically motivated accusation and that the United States will destroy the United States era directly and we will be forced to improve our product and services. Therefore, Huawei has made a proposal to switch its chip supply to Samsung and also began exploring domestic chip production through SMIC.
I will present about the implication if certain policy being implemented. For the first issue, which is the issue of Taiwan's territorial strategic ambiguity. The issue used on this the policy used on this issue is strategic ambiguity. Strategic ambiguity is focused to dissuade Taiwan from seeking independence and to deter China from using force against Taiwan. Strategic ambiguity, assuming that it can minimize wars, but the reality is not like that, as China will always continue to vow that it will take over Taiwan even by using force if it necessary. For the second issue, which is the issue of tension between South Korea and North Korea. The policy used for this issue is Sunshine Policy. Kim Dae-jung, the president of South Korea in 1998, announced this policy called Sunshine Policy. South Korea can invest in North Korea when this issue has been announced, and South Korea also become the North Korea largest trading partner. However, this issue did not last longer than it expected because an explosion happened at the stern of Seoul, and South Korea claimed that it was done by the North Korea. The last issue is the issue of United States government has initiated multiple lawsuits against Huawei. In 2019, Huawei was added to entity list, and it is a restriction of trade made by United States government of Commerce, Bureau of Industry and Security, BIS. When Huawei was added to entity list, BIS temporarily authorized export to Huawei, which is which was called as a temporary general license. This temporary authorization has 4 points. First, it is necessary to support existing telecommunications network and equipment. Second, it is necessary to support and provide service to existing Huawei handsets. And the third one is provide some information that is related to cybersecurity vulnerabilities in Huawei network. And the last one is it is necessary for developing 5G standards at a recognized international standard body for part of engagement with Huawei and its affiliates.
Last but not least, the conclusion. There is no denying that the semiconductor business is currently experiencing new challenges in today's fast climate. Many people were concerned about the lack of feature-rich chips, but happily TSMC, Intel Corporation and Global Foundries have committed billions of dollars to upgrade their production facilities and add more production lines. With the help of semiconductor materials, we can operate vehicles, trains, and spacecraft, and the CPU is made up of many transistors and other regulating components made of semiconductor material. That's all from our group. Thank you.